What if I told you that, seconds after the cameras stopped rolling, chaos broke out backstage? What if I told you that Kendra, the woman who supported young jockey through every club scandal, baby mama, blindside, and reunion show breakdown, finally lost it and didn't just approach Jock quietly? Oh no. Sis came in hot, her voice shaking, tears welling in her eyes, and she said, "You embarrassed me for her." Yes, that happened in front of the producers, the cast, the makeup artists, and her, and we'll talk about that. Wasn't just a lover's argument, it was a meltdown that took place years ago. Broken promises, silent betrayals, DMs that shouldn't have been opened, footage that shouldn't have leaked, and now the floodgates are open. Kendra is done being the good wife. Are you ready for this? Because when a woman has had enough, she flips the entire damn table instead of raising her voice. Let's get started. Smirk young Jock was backstage still enjoying the aftermath of another chaotic Love and Hip Hop Atlanta taping. The cameras had just stopped, the lights had gone down, and as the crew frantically rearranged for confessionals, Jock caught a glimpse of a hot Mick whispering and laughing with Rasheeda once more. Unfortunately for him, someone had captured the moment on camera. Before we get into the shocking confrontation that broke out minutes later, let's go back in time because this isn't just about a flirt. Let's begin with Kendra Robinson, an entrepreneur and lawyer who attempted to convert young Jock from playboy to partner. You may recall her as the person who stood up for Jock during the Carly Red scandal and kept him in check when his name was linked to that random dancer in Houston. Yes, that Kendra gave this man numerous opportunities, both publicly and privately, legally, and even spiritually, if we're being honest. What did she get in return? When the video of Jock and Rasheeda laughing backstage, leaning close and brushing shoulders like teenagers in their homeroom appeared, Kendra didn't call a meeting, didn't ask for context, didn't even go to production, and instead stormed the set. Now, hold on. You might be wondering, Rasheeda, as in Mrs. Boss Chick, married to Kirk, beauty line mogul Rasheeda? Yes, that Rasheeda is the one whose marriage has been a roller coaster of infidelity, which has resulted in fake babies outside. Let's break it down. 3 weeks ago, while filming the new Lottle promo campaign, Jock and Rasheeda were paired together for a legacy segment. The producers thought it would be and nostalgic, the two of them reflecting on their journeys, but Jock kept making slick remarks about how he always had a thing for strong women in apartments and plot twists wilder than a Tyler Perry script. So why was she getting cozy with Jock? Well, according to our sources, and baby, they are sources with a capital S. On the day of the taping, Jock's mic is still hot. The cameras are rolling for B-roll. And then, with a nervous laugh from Rasheeda, he leans in and says, "If Kirk doesn't appreciate you, you know where I'm at." Cue nervous laughter from Rasheeda, a playful push, and Jock smiling like he just won the award for boldest creep alive. But it wasn't just the moment. It was the look, the way he stared, the way she didn't flinch, and the way the entire room paused, not sure if they... As they were about to head for their trailers, Kendra came in. Her hair was slicked, her suit was tight, and her eyes were locked. The crew fell silent, and one paw whispered, "Oh hell, she saw it." Let's just say that Jock will never forget what happened next. Kendra strode past Rasheeda without blinking, and thrust a phone directly into his face, saying, "Explain this." She snapped. It was the playback, the whisper, when you said it in front of 5 cameras and the entire damn production crew, was it a joke? He stammered, looked at Rasheeda, and looked back at Kendra, but the damage was already done. You could hear a pin drop until Rasheeda said, "Maybe I should give y'all a minute." Kendra wasn't letting it go, though, and you stayed because you were involved. The crew froze the cameras rolling, and the footage, well, that's what got leaked next, was 90 seconds of unfiltered rage, years of pent-up frustration, every unanswered text, every direct message, and Jock swearing he was just a fan. Every time she had to defend his name to her coworkers, Rasheeda was rendered speechless. The day after the dressing room blow-up, everything went haywire online. Leaked behind-the-scenes photos appeared on Instagram, one of which showed Kendra mid. Another image showed Jock slumping in his chair with his palms on his knees, looking like a man who had just received divorce papers and a spiritual judgment. Now let's An anonymous crew member sent a voice note to a gossip blogger, one of those cunning "my cousin works on set" types, and the voice note describes something even though the cameras didn't catch Kendra allegedly slapping Jock twice. Twice. The second one left a bold red print across his cheek. Producers were reportedly in full panic mode, not because of the violence, but because of liability concerns. HR paperwork began flying, and Mona Scott Young allegedly got on a Zoom call at midnight asking, "Can we spin this, or are we legally fed?" But wait, there's more. While fans were still processing the slap rumors, Jock went live on Instagram. They claimed that the makeup team had to rush in to calm the scene. "What?" he said. "If we're being honest, I'm not perfect, but don't sit here acting like I haven't been the one holding this whole thing together." He didn't name Kendra, but the look in his eyes told you exactly who he was talking about, and that live moment was captured on camera and shared on social media. Suddenly, the story took a different turn, with some fans accusing Kendra of doing too much, and others accusing Jock of gaslighting. One tweet said, "These two need only a priest and the ghost of relationships past." But while Rasheeda was dropping subtle bombs on her Instagram story while Jock was going in a public spiral. One clip showed her at a nail salon with the caption, "Peace is expensive, I pay in silence." Another simply featured a picture of her drinking green juice with the song "Can't Be Faded" playing in the background. Petty might not be effective, but it was definitely effective. Then came the TMZ leak. A secret recording purportedly taken from the set captured a private conversation between Jock and Rasheeda. In the clip, Jock can be heard saying, "Kendra doesn't understand." Instead of simply living the story, she constantly tries to control it in the game. Rasheeda's response, "Perhaps she's attempting to endure it." The internet suddenly exploded, and the focus shifted from who was right or wrong to who was real. Rasheeda, whether she meant to or not, began to appear as the person who understood the price of fame, while Kendra appeared to be crumbling under it. However, don't get it wrong, Kendra wasn't leaving without swinging. The very next day, she released a 4-minute video called "My Truth." Her hair was slicked back and she didn't wear makeup. She looked like a woman on the verge of both a breakdown and a breakthrough. She a placeholder while he kept the door open for something safer and easier. She didn't mention Rasheeda's name, but the subtext was loud, and the comments were a complete mess. Some verified accounts were chiming in, while others were insiders. Claim that producers are frantically considering removing Rasheeda from the show, not out of guilt, but rather due to branding concerns. One fashion line she is associated with allegedly sent a "we need to talk" email the morning after the leak, and Jock is being offered a redemption special, a 2-episode miniseries in which he reflects on the situation. However, the most intriguing part beneath that video was a like from Carly Red. According to a new leak, which suggests that Love and Hip Hop has no security at all, the original video of Kendra confronting Jock was altered to omit a crucial scene in which Jock allegedly said, "You think you're the only one who's ever caught." Feelings backstage. Read that again. His actions do damage control and meet with a celebrity therapist. Rumor has it that VH1 has already scheduled Dr. Spirit to sit with him and unpack his emotional duplicity. That one, is this man a serial flirt or a misunderstood husband? That is the question at hand. Where is Kendra now? Sources claim she is staying at her mother's house in Buckhead, not returning calls or responding to producers. One assistant claimed she deleted everyone from her team's group chat and posted Bible verses in her Instagram Close Friends Classic. The sentence suggests there have been numerous others, and all of a sudden every previous clip, every small smile, and every warm embrace the Jock ever gave a cast member is being rewatched and dissected frame by frame. The stakes are higher than ever as we move into part 3. There are rumors of NDAs being broken, lawyers stepping in, and a final confrontation that might never air unless someone leaks it first. The silence didn't last long, though, because just when everyone thought Kendra had permanently dropped, out of the drama, a private conversation was leaked again. This time, it wasn't just gossip, but a voice recording of her speaking with her lawyer. Kendra could be heard saying, you could just hear the frost in her voice as they took advantage of me, edited me, and now want me to play the bad guy for ratings. She wasn't bluffing, and her lawyer coolly replied, "If they air that confrontation without your signed release, we have grounds to sue, boom." And suddenly, what had begun as an emotional backstage meltdown had escalated into a full-fledged legal battle, with VH1 facing the possibility of a lawsuit. In the midst of all this chaos, Jock did something that no one saw coming. He posted a black screen on Instagram with the caption, "I never wanted it to end this way." Young allegedly called an emergency legal meeting demanding that every second of unaired footage be reviewed. "If she's threatening the court," Mona reportedly said, "then we better make sure the court sees our side too." In a matter of minutes, Rasheeda shared a mysterious message of her own. "There are moments when quiet is the loudest betrayal." As if on cue, someone leaked the unaired footage from the dressing room blow-up. It included not only the yelling and the tears, but also the one moment that was purportedly cut from the final version, which caused fans to go crazy with their theories. Did Rasheeda just expose Jock? Was Jock about to leave the show? Wait, are Rasheeda and Jock done too? Then, like clockwork, the clip that turned the internet upside down, angry, saying, "You embarrass me over Rasheeda, the woman you said was just a co-host." The room fell silent, and Jock didn't deny it or deflect. Instead, he just looked down at the floor. That silence told us everything. Within an hour, Twitter was trending with the hashtag #JusticeForKendra. Old videos of Rasheeda and Jock having fun were being re-examined as though they were part of a criminal investigation. One superfan even created a 20-minute conspiracy thread on TikTok. Receipts you missed, but during the social media meltdown, VH1 was in a panic. One producer was heard telling a makeup artist that if this goes to court, our entire cast structure might collapse. Jock's contract, Rasheeda's brand deals, everything is at risk. Meanwhile, Kendra pulled the ultimate power move, unfollowing everyone, deleting all of the photos of herself with the Jock, and posting a single black and white picture of herself leaving the set with her heels in hand with the caption, "I choose. Me." The comments were thousands deep, sis. Lost a real one, but don't think Rasheeda remained silent either. In typical Rasheeda fashion, she responded with a polished and slick Instagram reel that showed her looking glamorous and getting ready for a new podcast segment. The audio allowed them to talk about how real people don't fold under pressure. It was unbothered. It gave the main character energy, but it was also shade, and the fans loved it. Then came the unexpected bombshell. The H1 announced an emergency reunion special that was secretly filmed with Mona Scott Young. Moderating the twist, Rasheeda and Kendra were supposed to meet in person for the first time since the altercation. Rumor had it that Jock was contractually obligated to go, but asked to appear virtually. Producers rejected the request, saying, "If you're going to play in the fire, you better show up for the smoke." According to leaked reports, the reunion was tense, emotional, and almost violent. One insider described Rasheeda as cool until she wasn't, and Kendra as composed, but deadly. Kendra allegedly looked Rasheeda in the eyes and said, "You didn't just ruin my marriage, you tried to ruin my peace." Rasheeda allegedly responded, "Your marriage was already cracked. I just exposed the leaks." Boom, Mick dropped. But the real kicker, Jock, remained silent for the first 40 minutes, sitting with his hands folded and appearing to be a man with nothing left to fight for. When he did speak, he said, Rasheeda needs to take responsibility for her part in this mess." In the meantime, behind the scenes, things started to fall apart. One hair care company dropped Rasheeda pending review of the public controversy, and a clothing line that Kendra modeled for removed her campaign. "I never meant to hurt either of you, but I stopped knowing how to love myself a long time ago." Cue the violins, right? Fans weren't moved. The comments on reunion clips were harsh. This man played victim better than he played husband. At the Winso. End of that week, VH1 shockingly announced that all filming for the rest of the season would be postponed pending internal review translation. We're bleeding, and don't know how to stop it. As for the cast, Kendra reportedly ghosted her agent and moved out of their shared Atlanta loft, and Rasheeda unfollowed multiple cast members. Even a Jock side hustle posted a vague message about shifting partnerships on their website. Because in the end, this wasn't just about a backstage altercation, a scandalous co-host moment, or a betrayal captured on camera. It was about what happens when loyalty dies in the spotlight, when truth is edited, and when love becomes strategy. And now the cast of Love and Hip Hop ATL is standing in the rubble of something that may never be repaired. This includes Jock and Jock, who was spotted drinking alone at a local bar with a hoodie pulled over his head. One witness said he looked lost, and perhaps that's what he is. Call to action. We'll examine what transpires next and pose the question that no one is willing to publicly answer. Did Jock lose his entire life over a vibe? Then the question is, was it all worthwhile? Was the backstage ego trip, the flirtation between just friends, and the clout-chasing chaos really worth the breakdown of a marriage, the disintegration of a cast, and the disintegration of a man who once served as the franchise's face? Because let's face it, young Jock not only lost Kendra, but also lost the fans, the public's respect, and possibly even Rasheeda. Depending on how this next chapter unfolds, Kendra may have left broken, but she left stronger, louder, and more unapologetic than we have ever seen her. Meanwhile, Rasheeda's brand is in ruins, Jock's credibility is in ashes, and VH1 is scurrying around like a child who has been caught with crayons on the wall. What we want to know is whether Kendra should sue VH1 for manipulating her image, whether Rasheeda should acknowledge that she crossed boundaries with Jock, or if she is going for long-term fame on her own. If you think the real drama hasn't even begun yet, hit the like button and subscribe because you know we've got more receipts coming, and hit the bell because the next episode of this mess could drop any moment now. More importantly, is this the end of Jock on Love and Hip Hop? Or is Mona about to turn this into a redemption arc that none of us saw coming? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Was Kendra justified? Is Rasheeda hiding more than she's saying? Should Jock even be permitted near another set without a therapist on speed dial? Second, isn't the end. Isn't